Hello, I'm Irene Paredes, co-founder of Innovarum. We are a consultancy firm dedicated to fostering innovation in the agri-food sector, and we are specialists in European projects and the European context of innovation in our sector and in the bioeconomy. So I've been invited to participate as an expert in a workshop called Transformative Futures for Farmers and Rural Communities, which has taken place in Brussels, and it has been organized by the JRC, the Joint Research Center of the European Commission, particularly by the Foresight division. This workshop has the aim of understanding the reality, the future reality of the farmers of the agri-food sector, the agricultural production sector in the EU, particularly in 2040. So in this workshop, we have been discussing about the impact of the digitalization in the agri-food sector and how the European reality is going to be quite different in a few years, not that long, but well, already in a few, and how the policies need to be adapted to make the most about providing sufficient, safe food for the population. So in the workshop, which was carried out along 2 days, we were 30 experts approximately were invited to it, and we were split it in some groups. We were given some future scenarios for some reflection, and it was great that several conditions were given and several kinds of future farmers were described, and we needed to make some estimations, share our opinions on how these farmers would behave, and thus their needs. We needed to understand their needs. The kinds of farmers have been shaped in a very interesting work by JRC Foresight, which is published in a public study, Farmers of the Future, and this is a nice document in which a great variety of profiles are described, and things are going to change a lot in the future. We needed to reflect about several scenarios in which key elements were a little bit disrupted. For example, great shortages of energy were taken into account, a different kind of access to data. For example, nowadays we are starting to depend very much on data by the internet. If this situation changes, how are we going to adapt? Telecommunications managed differently, different politics, macro-political situations among the key players worldwide. So it was interesting to reflect on all these future possibilities, and this is really useful to understand how we need to prepare for future possible events. Well, my conclusions with this workshop are basically that Europe is doing a good job in understanding how the future is going to be looking like. We have a great scenario of change in the future. Technology, the wave of the agrotech is going to settle, if not is already settled, and this is going to really transform a lot the reality, and we need to adapt to it, and policies need to be adapted to it, since current policies are going to be outdated, some of them at least. So first of all, my conclusion is great that this job is being done. One of the key outcomes that I took out from the workshop as well is that reality in the future is going to be less stable. Let's say that cycles, the cycles are going to be shorter. So this is going to be a challenge for a production, an industry or a productive sector such as the agricultural one. We work with, in agriculture, we work with natural cycles. So to adapt, we are not as agile as other industrial sectors to adapt to shorter terms. So this, for me, is going to be one of the key challenges.